To our conversation with political commentator J.C. Polanco, we now swing to the local front. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is seeking re-election. The question is, how is the mayor doing in J.C.'s eyes? And you can't.
Nah, I'm the wrong guy. You can't ask me these questions.
I can't ask you these questions.
No.
Why?
Because I give him an F squared. F, triple F. Are you kidding me? This guy's awful. And I know I'm a Republican. I know BronxNet are looking at me like,
right.
Here's JC, Mr. Republican. But before you do that, just understand, I'm objective about these things. I really, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of our board president. I think our board president would make a fantastic mayor. Much better than Bill de Blasio. So that's what I mean by being objective. Okay. It's not like I'm being partisan. This guy's awful. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some things that I think are important. He talks about how many kids are in universal pre-K and how wonderful universal pre-K is, and this is his claim to fame everywhere he goes. Well, let me ask you something, Mr. Mayor. 25,000 kids in New York City are homeless today. 64,000 people are homeless in New York City today. What do you have to say? I mean, he has nothing to say. ACS has children under their watch that are being killed left and right. And what does he do? He blames the commissioner. Now, he'll say, I accepted her resignation, AKA, I'm going to look for a scapegoat. Our own Bronx site, Gladys Carrion, had to submit her resignation because of his disastrous policy with ACS. His homeless issue he has claimed responsibility for, and commissioners he has put in charge of homelessness have resigned under his watch. This guy is just completely awful. Now, another thing I want Bronxites to hear me out, and I know you guys are like Republican GC. I promise you this, I'm being objective. One of the things that the mayor and his cohorts like to do is talk about how crime has been reduced across the city. Stop. Listen, crime reduction in Park Slope and Tottenville, Staten Island, that's great. But I want to hear more about how we have a 25% increase in violent crimes in our projects, in our housing developments, in our public housing developments across the city. Over 40% increase in our public parks. If you go into our subways and buses, there's an increase of 38% of violent crimes happening in these areas. And you're going to come and tell me that crime is down? Look, if Savannah, and I hope she watches tonight, that's my daughter. If she comes to me with a report card, and she says to me, Papi, I'm doing very good in school. I'm doing great. And I look at the report card, and there's 100 for social studies, which I'm sure she'll get. 100 for English, which I'm sure she'll get. But then she has a 25 in math, a 35 in science, and a 15 in physical education. We have a problem. And that's the issue with Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio, another cohort that I'm dealing with. This is the issue. He walks around saying these things, and it's just not true. And please, look, he went up against the borough presidents, against the wishes of community boards and borough presidents across the city. Guys like our own borough president, Ruben Diaz, who fought against some of his zoning policies, won on the local level, but yet the mayor completely, like a dictator, overruled them. He's running the city like a little Havana, Cuba.
So let's talk about this. We talk about the fact of a tale of two cities.
Yes.
He ran on a tale of two cities.
Yes.
There are two cities, the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
When you look today, do you still feel like there's a tale of two cities?
Well, I never subscribed to the tale of two cities. I never
Really?
did. I didn't. I think that we're one city. We have different conditions. We're a city of neighborhoods. We're a city of history. We have these neighborhoods that are very important and unique to the fabric of how we feel as a community. So I never subscribed to that. I think he used the tale of two cities, like politicians have done before, to galvanize certain groups of votes to come out and support you. And he did so, and he did so successfully. Congratulations, Bill de Blasio, you won the election. But moving forward, you have to understand that he has a lot of questions to answer. He wants to talk about a tale of two cities. Here you have a mayor who has grand juries investigating him for ethics violations. You have a mayor who has made decisions about very important things regarding housing development and regarding billions of dollars across the city. And he made those decisions with the assistance of consultants that he called agents of the city. Now, this is not an allegation. Google this stuff. He would make these decisions in a room with these so-called agents of the city. The problem, Daren, these agents of the cities were profiting off of those decisions. And those agents of the cities don't have our interests in mind. They have their clients' interests in mind. So he's being investigated for that. He's being investigated for violating state campaign finance rules and getting involved in upstate elections by asking people that have business before the city to donate to Senate Republican races upstate. I mean, you have a big problem with this guy. And I think it's about time for a Democrat like, wink, wink, Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., like Scott Stringer to get involved, Letitia James to look into this, because this is a guy who's not doing a good job. And I know that Democrats will come in, and this is a great opportunity for us to debate, so it's not just one-sided. But when you really look at the totality of some of the decisions he's made, between the ethical violations and the ethical dilemmas, I think you have you can make an argument against him, and I think that he leaves himself susceptible to an incredible primary. Now, on the Republican side, I know it's tougher for us. This is an overwhelming Democratic city. But we have guys like Councilman Eric Ulrich out of Queens who are looking at running for mayor. We have Paul Massey, who is a very popular, wealthy real estate developer who has been working very hard for the last year, trying to gain traction in facing de Blasio in November. And you have a couple of people that have named already in the Democratic side that are primarying him, Sal Albanese from Brooklyn, and you have Tony Avella from Queens that have already announced. The issue with those two gentlemen is I don't think that they are connected as well to the liberal elites that control the primary process.
What do you think it says for him, given the fact that he would probably have a Democratic primary? Do you think that that really speaks volumes?
No, I think that if it's Tony Avella and Sal Albanese, as great guys as they are, and these guys are, I'm talking about very powerful in their own right, they have a following, I don't know whether or not they're able to make the dent necessary in the super duper amazing base that Bill de Blasio has on his corner. And that involves, large portions of minority communities that support him and the unions, which are going to be the driving force behind any Democratic primary for mayor.
So when we look at his campaign or look at his, his legacy thus far, police community relations has always been big in the city. We know that he walked in with challenges after 2 officers were killed in Brooklyn. Where do you grade him with regards to dealing with police community?
I've spoken to many police officers. Their morale is down, and it has been down for a couple of years now. You have to remember that Bill de Blasio has taken a position that many considered anti-cop. I know that a lot of my friends don't consider those positions to be anti-cop. They consider it to be a pro-civil rights position, a position to make the community aware that there are violations within the ranks of the police officers against the community. I understand that. But this is the position that a lot of police officers have when he pushed against them by blaming and castigating many of them as being racist. He had that conversation 2 years ago where he says he has to have that special discussion with his son Dante about how to deal with cops because he's African American. That really insulted so many police officers because now they view that the mayor, their boss, views them as racist as a collective. That was a problem. I think that there's room for them to repair that relationship, especially with contract negotiations that are occurring or have occurred.
And a new commissioner?
A new commissioner. So you have the opportunity to rebuild the relationship between the mayor and the police. But I know as of now, there's still a lot of police that are hurting from a lot of the things that he said about them.
All right, J.C. Blanco giving us the update on what's happening locally and nationally, our political commentator.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you, man. All righty, we'll be back with more JC.
Happy holidays.
Hey, that's right. We probably won't see each other for the holiday, right?
That's right, man. Merry
Not
Christmas,
TV,
Happy New
least,
Year,
right?
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.
To all the viewers, and thanks for putting up with me this year.
That's it. Well, that's JC's message. I'll give you mine at the end of the show. Listen, stay tuned. We'll be back with more show. Be right back right after this.